Coming up, schools canceled, neighbors told to shelter in place. And right now a manhunt is underway for two suspects considered armed and dangerous. All of this after an Adams County deputy was shot and killed in the line of duty. We'll have a live update coming up. And here in Denver, the wind is blowing in some warmer temperatures. Marty has your forecast next on 9 News.
It is a great, incredible sadness that we report that our deputy was transported and pronounced dead at the hospital.
The community definitely lost a good deputy. When I actually found out it was him, I was very sad.
It hits you hard and it touches your heart. You want to be able to support him in any way you can.
We have containment in the rear of that address. We're standing by while they take this guy in custody.
So guns drawn, flak vests, people were coming in unmarked cars. It looks like just anybody that could get here, get here. And they told us immediately to shelter in place. It's scary, you know, there's nothing beyond just being scared.
We just laid Officer Parrish to rest. When is the violence going to end?
Hello everyone, I'm Gary Shapiro. More than 17 hours after an Adams County deputy was shot and killed, a manhunt continues for two suspects. Both are considered armed and dangerous. A third suspect is in custody. The Adams County Sheriff's Office says the two suspects fled after deputies arrived at the 8700 block of Dawson Street last night. That's on the south side of Thornton. The Sheriff's Office says the other suspect led deputies behind a house, turned and fired on them, hitting Deputy Heath Gum in the chest. Deputy Gum was rushed to Denver Health Medical Center where he was pronounced dead. He was 32 years old, a husband and a father. This morning, students and faculty at 19 nearby schools awoke to discover that they were going to stay home. The school closures were announced as people in the neighborhoods surrounding the shooting scene were all asked to shelter in place. 9 News reporter Nelson Garcia is in Thornton this morning. Nelson, I imagine people are still kind of on edge. Suspects are still out there.
Gary, they are on edge, and the question is, are those two suspects still somewhere around here? The Adams County Sheriff's Office says that it is still conducting an active search through this entire area. The perimeter extends from Sheldon Drive here on the south end, several blocks to the north into the neighborhood, although we have not received official word as to how far it goes. The schools in this area are all closed as a precaution, as you mentioned. The activity in this area has been up and down all morning. Deputies have told residents that they can stay in their homes while evidence gathering goes on at the shooting scene and the scene where the initial assault call has come in. Investigators have also been flying a drone over the neighborhood, presumably to look for more evidence or any sign of the other two suspects. Neighbors here say this whole sequence of events has been pretty nerve-wracking.
If you're locked up in your house and you can't come out, you're talking to your neighbors, you're talking to your relatives can't come down and see you, what would you think? I mean, I would be nervous. I would be a hell of a lot nervous. But I would like to have them give us more information.
Over the past hour or so, the activity around here has quieted down quite a bit. If there is still an active search going on, we have not seen it here down on the south end, although there are still a number of deputies that are along the perimeter here. Gary.
All right, Nelson Garcia in Thornton, thank you much. Governor Gov Hickenlooper has ordered flags to be flown at half-staff today to honor and remember Deputy Gum. They are to remain that way until sunset on the day of his funeral, which has not been set yet. Governor Hickenlooper says, as an elected leader, he will work to make sure officers get the same protections that they give us.
Our primary role is make sure we're safe. So we will roll up our sleeves and go back to work and make sure that we're doing everything humanly possible to make sure that our sheriffs, our police officers are safe as they keep us safe.
Governor Hickenlooper says the state will do everything possible to help the Sheriff's Department get through this ordeal. If you know anything about the incident, you are asked to call the Sheriff's Department. They have set up a tip line. That number is 720-322-1313. All right, today many of those flags will be blowing in the wind, I am guessing. Kind of gusty out there in parts. Beautiful look at our snow-kissed mountains, though, right now in the metro area. We're looking at highs in the 50s. Marty Coniglio joins us from the 9 News backyard. Another mild day, Marty.
It is, Gary. I had high hopes for even warmer temperatures, but these stubborn clouds do not want to go away, so we're going to lower things a bit. Again, quite comfortable out here as it is now, and the more wind, the warmer you are. Let's check out some views we've had from around the area in the last 24 hours. Last night's sunset in Fort Collins, fantastic from Lois Weingartner. And in Windsor this morning, Bob Brunacci just got us the quintessential Colorado sunrise. Really beautiful day, but those clouds that are still out there are making it cool. So is the lack of wind. Notice it's windy on the east side of town, it's windy in the foothills, and then we'll put temperatures up there. That's where it is the warmest, already in the lower and middle 50s where it's windy. Where it's not windy, we're stuck in the 30s and 40s. So if you don't get wind today, you don't get very warm at all. We'll be in the mid 50s to upper 50s here downtown to the south, a little cooler on the north side of town, dropping into the 30s later tonight. Again, that wind stays mainly in the southern and eastern sides of the metro area and in the foothills. Tomorrow, the wind comes out of the north in a big way. It's going to be much, much cooler as a storm system begins to move our way with some light mountain snow and maybe a flurry here.
All right, Marty, thanks for that. Hey, check out this video. Parts of this neighborhood in Pennsylvania evacuated due to an ice jam-related flood. Those living along the Susquehanna River are being told to head to higher ground. Officers went door to door today telling residents about the danger. Several bridges have also closed down because of the ice jams and the flooding. President Trump says he would reconsider re-entering the Trans-Pacific Partnership if he can secure a, quote, substantially better deal for the U.S. He told that to CNBC during an interview in Davos, Switzerland. He said that he would, quote, do TPP if we had a much better deal than we had before. The president withdrew the U.S. from the sweeping agreement involving the 11 other Pacific Rim nations shortly after taking office. Instead of going with President Trump to Switzerland, White House Chief of Staff John Kelly stayed in Washington. He is working on an immigration plan. The president says he is open to a plan that would lead to citizenship for hundreds of thousands of young people who are being brought to this country illegally as children. A senior White House aide later stressed that the idea of granting citizenship is just a discussion point in a plan that the White House intends to share eventually with Congress. The former doctor at the center of the USA Gymnastics scandal will spend the rest of his life in prison. Larry Nassar was sentenced to as many as 175 years at his trial in a Michigan courtroom as it wrapped up yesterday. It was one of the country's largest sex abuse scandals. Nassar also worked at Michigan State University, and overnight, as increasing calls for her resignation were heard, MSU's president stepped down. Luana Simon wrote in part to survivors, "I can never say enough that I am so sorry that a trusted, renowned physician was really such an evil, evil person who inflicted such harm under the guise of medical treatment." U.S. Olympic gymnast Ali Raisman said on the Today Show this morning that all of the stress that was about coming forward with the sexual abuse scandal has made her physically sick. However, she said it is crucial to make sure things change.
We need to hold these organizations accountable. USA Gymnastics, United States Olympic Committee, MSU, they need an independent investigation. This is bigger than Larry Nassar. We have to get to the bottom of how this disaster happened. If we don't figure out how it did, we can't be confident that it won't happen again.
Raisman has publicly accused both USA Gymnastics and the United States Olympic Committee of complicity. Earlier this week, 3 top execs from USA Gymnastics resigned. Raisman was among more than 100 victims who delivered emotional impact statements during Nassar's 7-day sentencing hearing. Well, do you need a job? Home Depot is set to hire about 1,400 new employees here in the Denver area. They're getting ready for a very busy spring season and a lot of home improvements. The hiring spree includes both permanent, part-time, and seasonal positions. Home Depot says the jobs include sales positions, cashiers, operations, and order fulfillment. If you're interested, we have a link on 9news.com and the 9 News app where you can apply directly. Coming up on 9 News at noon, saying goodbye to a legendary filmmaker, one skiers will miss most of all. But first, here's a live look at the city of Boulder right now. A little bit cloudy out there. Marty has news of a storm headed our way, too. He'll tell us what to expect next on 9 News at Noon.